Hi, Elizabeth. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning for you and good evening from me.
Yes, you still have sunlight.
The sun is setting here.
Oh, that must be a picture.
Yes, it is.
By a window? Or is that a picture?
This is my window. Yes.
Okay, well, there's still daylight, it looks like.
Yeah.
So I've had a few cancellations so far. Maybe we'll wait a little bit longer, see if other people join. And if they join, that's fine. So how are things in Belgium?
For me, they're good.
You're smiling?
Yeah, I can smile. Can still smile. But there are turbulent times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Except here.
Yes.
So have you done meetings before?
Not on this topic, no.
No. Okay, then perhaps we'll start at a very basic level, informational level. And if people join, that's fine. There's plenty of room. So what this talking is about is really a kind of pointing or a kind of illumination rather than a search for knowledge or understanding. That there's something nameless and unexplainable that is sometimes labeled as life. Other words used to attempt to name it are oneness or wholeness or what is. They're all names that are just used out of convenience for something that is nameless and can't be explained, and yet is definitely there or apparently there. And everyone, in one way or another, seems to be looking for it. It may be some people are looking through success in business. Some people are looking through some form of some effort toward enlightenment in spirituality. Some people are comfortable looking for it in religion. Everybody, in one way or another, seems to be looking for it. This thing or no thing that is there apparently everywhere, that is everything and nothing. And somehow, for many, it remains hidden. It's somehow, in a way, been hiding itself as self as the identity that each person or most people seem to develop beginning in childhood. And this self, by becoming a self, has separated itself from what is, from everything, from life. And that self, in all of its effort to find what's missing in its life, can never see it. It can never find what it's looking for. It's impossible for the separate identity to find the everything, the infinite, the nameless, everything that everyone, that every separate feeling person is desperate to have, not realizing that all their effort is useless, totally useless, that this everything that's available or actually is everyone, it actually is everyone's separate identity that everyone seems to be lost in. That identity, because it's separate, cannot find, can never see, can never experience the everything that it's looking for. So how about that? How does that sound?
I noticed that yes, that's something that I've been looking for and searching for.
Yes.
I've been this, yes. I've had some experiences.
Oh,
But yeah, and that those brought me on a kind of spiritual path. But it's, yeah, through a friend of mine who introduced me to your videos on YouTube, that that I started looking, actually in the few last weeks even, but that I started looking like all these thoughts and emotions and all these experiences that I have, yeah, that it's from that separate self, and how hard it can be to, like, the mind wants to understand all of this and it
yes.
can't.
Yes. Yes. It's
Yeah.
it's the nature of the mind, and it's so used to having its life the way it is or the way it isn't, and it would like to be. It's used to having its say about everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just impossible for the mind to grasp what it's looking for, and the fact that the more it looks, the less it finds, until many times at some point it may just give up looking. At least that's the experience here. As part of the story here, there was a point where the mind here was looking very actively and actually feeling that it was accomplishing something in the way of understanding. And it was convinced that it was headed somewhere. And at some point, for whatever reason, it stopped looking. It just gave up. Something happened, it just gave up looking. That's something that's remembered about the story here. So the mind will do what it does. It's whatever it's saying about itself and its path, what it thinks might be its path or its effort, is just what it's saying about itself. And if something else comes up, it's the mind, it's the personality saying something about itself again. It just, people talk about it being a loop. It gets in loops, round and round. And at some point, it may get quieter. And at some point, if there's a resonance, it may no longer be there. It's something that can't be predicted. It's something that can't be caused. It's something that seems to happen for no reason and no explanation, no particular circumstances. Yet it seems to happen more if we're in a kind of environment where wholeness is talking, where oneness is talking, where the infinite is talking. And then if things are the way they are, there can be some people call it a falling away, or some people call it dying, a death. Again, these are just words for the inexpressible. Yet it seems to happen on its own totally. And once it happens, once that personality or that me is no longer there, then the seeing can see. The seeing that's always been there the seeing that's always been us, that we've never seen, or that the me has been unable to ever see. The seeing that's always been there and will always be there, the infinite seeing, sees. It just sees. And and wholeness and oneness and all the words we throw at everything is seen. So how does that sound?
That sounds joyous.
It's everything seeing everything. Infinite seeing infinite, infinity. It's there, it's always been there. The me personality, gets lost in itself unknowingly, and even though the seeing is always there, even though the me personality is thought to be there, it's never been there. The separate me, the separate I, the separate you, which feels so real, so solid, so undeniable, is not even there. It's already not there. The desire it may have after watching videos to not be there, to attempt or to try to not be there, which it will never succeed in, it's doing all the time that it's not even there. How can that be? How can it be that something so feeling so solid and so, so physical, so undeniable, with a history of memories and a future of hope and others feeling the same way, friends and family and other human beings, all in the same artificial circumstance that they've all created themselves. How can it be that none of it exists, or none of it has ever existed? It's only a different form of wholeness doing identity, doing self. And it can't be seen until there is no self. Which there never has been. It all seems to be an energetic action, energy somehow doing energy. And at some point, if there's a resonance, the energy seems to take a different form. And the self is no longer there.
Yeah, it's about the not effort. It sometimes feels like it's just a glimpse away.
Yes.
Hmm.
Have there been glimpses?
Yes, there have been glimpses. Yes, short ones.
Has the self seemed to have left?
Yes, and yes, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely no identification with the body.
Okay. Yes. This had glimpses at a point also. Actually, it wasn't this. It was the me having the glimpses.
Mm-hmm.
And that, in this case, or in the case of that me, oh, it looks like the moon is up. Is that the moon?
I thought it was, but it's just a reflection. I thought,
Oh, okay.
but the moon is over there. No,
Okay.
yeah, you can see it later on tonight.
Okay.
It's behind me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
So here in the story of this me, or the me that was, the glimpses were, they were the reason, or they caused the me to pursue non-duality. And that me having the glimpses actually felt it was being pushed somehow by the glimpses. So during the glimpses, on and off, there was still a me. It would come and go, and somewhere in that glimpsing, there was a point where the me seemed to give up. It seemed to give up. That's just another form of me, still being me, until it was no longer there until it just stopped being there somehow. And it is still not there. What's there is the everything that wasn't there when the me was there. What's there is everything. They say everything and nothing. It's totally different and yet much the same. All these descriptions have been said before by other people, other speakers, other just others. At some point, the me just stops. And hearing these words, the me will be encouraged to just stop, which it can't do. It cannot force itself to do. And yet at some point, it seems to, until it's not there. Then what's there, it may be emptiness, complete emptiness of the personality, of the identity, of the me. Then it may be fullness, complete fullness, the fullness of everything. The fullness of wholeness, of oneness. And the seeing just sees and sees and sees. And the seeing changes. It seems to get clearer and clearer. And what's called life beyond understanding just lives. It just goes. The way that it goes. With no longer having someone to figure things out, to have a life. Life is just life without someone having it. Words come up like wonderful, magnificent, bliss, endless happiness. They're just words. They're just words. There may be butterflies in the stomach. There may be tears in the eyes. There may be laughter for no reason. All without explanation, just happening. Just like the flowers in this background, just for no reason, flowering. Just like the sky in your window, darkening. For no reason, even though it's known that the sun goes down and the sunlight decreases. Things are beyond reason. And they're apparent. You've heard the term apparent? Apparently. They're apparent. There is an apparent quality to everything. It's different from the reality that the me demanded. That everything that seems so solid to the me is still there, maybe the same colors, the same construction, the same look, and yet there's an apparent quality that it's a form of kind of unreality that's different from the reality that the me expected. So even though everything seems the same, there are differences. And things are obviously different, even though they seem the same. Life is complex, and at the same time, it's simple. So that's the way things are seen in this window over here. That's all. The truth is, well, there is no truth, but that's the case in all windows. No matter whose window it is. Infinity is seen if the me is not there. If the me is there, it just sees what it wants to see. Even though the infinite is always there anyway. Are there any questions?
Yes and no. I want to thank you for your time anyway.
Sure.
And yeah, I love listening to your words and the energy that it that they bring. I think for my separate self, the yeah, I just notice how it wants to, yeah, it wants to force things, or it wants something to happen, or it's just also always the effort,
Yes.
trying to attain,
Yes.
yeah, something. And that's a, yeah, it feels like a big one to let go of.
Well, that's because it feels it has to do the letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's all the me knows to do, is to try and be me, a me, accomplishing something that it desires.
Mm-hmm.
That's the separation.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the me can never do what it desires, it can never have what it desires, can never be what it desires. In this, it's just what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It is just what's happening. And what's happening will continue until it's not happening. At some point, this is what's remembered about that experience.
Mm-hmm.
The me just kept doing whatever it seemed to do until it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow, for no reason, it just didn't. and it's okay that it didn't. It's okay that it's not anymore. It's wonderful that it's just not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that what's happening part, just what's happening, will continue happening, and it seems to happen more in environments where it's not happening. Where it's not there. Environments where it's not there seem to encourage somehow, for no reason, more not happening, or more emptiness, more nothingness.
Yeah.
In this case, there was a real well, the experience here was with Emerson was 2 weekend retreats about a month apart. And the kind of condensed 3 meetings or 4 meetings a day seemed to wear out the me, to exhaust it. That seemed to be something that was part of what was happening. Something about the me getting exhausted was part of it somehow.
Yeah.
And after that was a 4-day meeting, there was no desire. There was just absolutely no desire for any more meetings or any more, just no desire for any more meetings at all. Something was done. Something was over with the meetings. So again, that's just the experience here.
Yes. I can relate a little bit in the sense of, like meetings and searching, and that it's beginning to slow down a bit, like the
Okay.
want to learn more and do more, and having that hunger for knowledge or something like that. So that is that's been dropping away.
Okay. That's what's been happening.